Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we're going to find out more about the Kruleboyz Orruks and take a look at all the new miniatures that were shown in the recent preview. With the recent reveal for the Dominion box set for the new Age of Sigmar edition, we saw that the upgraded Stormcast Eternals are going to have a new enemy to do battle with, and these are the Kruleboyz Orruks. The Kruleboyz are brutal and cunning, and this makes them more amenable to picking off foes at range and stabbing someone in the back instead of charging headlong into battle. They make their homes in bogs, swamps and murky places, especially in Gur. When Kragnos began his rampage, the Kruleboyz took to him like a moth to flame. Worshipping him as destruction incarnate, the Kruleboyz are rising up across the realms to join their kinfolk, and they're bringing some big, nasty beasts with them. This faction is going to be a new addition to the Orruk war clan, so let's take a look at all the miniatures here, and these were shown in the preview, and you can see that they're looking awesome. A lot kind of slimmer, a little bit taller than the regular Orruks we may have seen, and they certainly look a lot darker, and as someone put it, which I really liked, they're a lot more kind of spiteful looking. I think this looks awesome, but this swampy vibe that they come with is really great, and we're really getting some incredible details and a really nice aesthetic overall that's completely different to the Bone Splitters and the Iron Jaws that we've already got in the Orruk war clans. So for the rest of this video, let's dive in and take a close look at all the miniatures. Leading the Kruleboyz from the bogs are sadistic Killerboss warlords, and here's one of them now, the Killerboss on Great Gnashtooth. And these influential killbosses often ride a ferocious boghound into battle. The beast's slavering jaws and loping speed make them well worth the trouble and possible loss of limb of taming them. And here we can see this beast. It looks crazy, completely hairless. It's a bit mental looking. It's got lots of armour and some real great details. I really like the effects of this dripping slime on the pieces of old like terrain there, and that's really kind of building into that swampy vibe. And the clothes that these Kruleboyz are wearing really kind of look like they're kind of symbolising that dripping slime as well. So when we put all those different textures together, it really sets the scene well. And here's one of the red shields that we're going to see a lot of in this war clan, and these have been designed with cues going way back to the early days of Warhammer, with the leering faces on the red shields no doubt feel familiar to hobbyists of a certain vintage while setting them apart from the other Orruks, and they certainly do that. They look very different to the Bone Splitters and the Iron Jaws indeed, completely different. I mean, the faces really more angry, and again, as someone put it on one of the comments for the previous video, we've come away from that kind of cartoony, almost comic style look that the Bone Splitters have, and now we've got this more spiteful and darker tone to play with. Now we're on to the next fighter in the war clan, and this is my favourite one of all the ones we saw in the recent reveal, and this is the Swampcaller Shaman that comes with a Hobgrot. And these are repulsive even by the standards of the Kruleboyz. Swampcaller wizards channel the foul magics of the swamp into toxins and vile elixirs to aid their kin. And here's the little Hobgrot that the Swampcaller Shamans never leave home without, and they're ready to stir the heady brews, and you just know that the grot's the life of the victory party. Then going back to our shaman, you can see he's got this big Gorgon skull on his back, and I really like that. And also in the stuff, you can see that this represents the hand of Mork, and it's said that the shaman hears the voice of Mork in his head. After our main killer boss and our wizard, we've got another killer boss, and this time he's coming with a Stab-grot. Every killer boss is ruthless and ambitious, having backstabbed, poisoned and otherwise disposed of anything that stood between them and their leadership goals. And you can see just how big these are when he's standing on top of the down Stormcast Eternal there. So these are going to be pretty decent sized models for sure. So looking really big, and this guy's a real menacing character. But this vicious warlord doesn't like to go into battle on his own, and he's always accompanied by a brave little fella who's super into stabbing things and can be kicked in front of a blow meant for the killer boss. These little grots are really adding some character to the war clan. I really love these, and you can even see that this guy's trying to match his shield to his vicious warlord there. So he's trying to look the part and look up to his kind of inspiration there and dress the same. So that's really funny. But you can see the size difference. These are going to look really funny on the battlefield. I'm sure they're going to be great fun to play with. Next, we've got another interesting character, and he's called a Murknob with a Belcher banner. And holding aloft icons raw in the form of Kragnos, the living earthquake, these strange devices offer protection against enemy magic and flood the battlefield with choking swamp gas. So this crazy guy here goes into the swamps, finds these beasts, cuts their face and tongue off, and then sticks the tongue on top of a spike, and then that tongue continues to emit a swamp gas, and this swamp gas can kind of add murky mist to the battlefield and give some advantages to the war clan. And this also acts as their totem, so you can see at the top that red kind of stretched face is kind of representing Kragnos, and then below that we've got another symbol for the Orruks, and then right at the bottom of the totem pole is one of the grots. Now we're moving away from the heroes and the main characters, and we've got the man-skewer Boltboyz, and we're going to get 3 different variations of this fighter, and these are Orruks who embrace ranged weaponry, and although they're rare, they can be found among the Kruleboyz. And Boltboyz coat the jagged tip of each bolt in a potent poison, mostly because they enjoy the death spasms the toxin causes. And as we saw in the trailer that came out with a preview, they're pretty good, have a dead aim, and one of them bullseyed the Lord Imperator himself, so they can certainly do some damage. And although they're not as strong as the Iron Jaws, they can certainly do some damage from a distance, peeking up of weaker targets and even softening up the stronger ones, ready for the rest of the war clan to dive upon and get stuck into. It seems that poison blades are going to be really popular in this war clan as we move on to the Gutrippaz, and they like to arm themselves with poison blades and scare shields, and mobs of these troops comprise the stinking heart of Kruleboyz armies. And you can see that we get quite a different amount of fighters here. They all look really different and individual, different poses, and the shields will match the look of the fighter. So you'll see on some of them that they've got like an eye patch, like this guy at the bottom right here, and so his shield also has an eye patch. So it's almost as if the shield is a kind of representation of them, and they're making that face really big to scare and taunt the oncoming enemy. And that's one thing about the Gutrippaz, that they're really cruel, they're really taunting, and they like to really wind up the enemy before they get stuck into the battle. So these look awesome, and it's really nice to have this variation, and I think we're going to get 10 of these all together in the set. So a great start there to get 10 of these fighters, and so that's the Gutrippaz. And now we're on to the real chaff or skirmish units. So these are called Hobgrot Slitters, and these are the diminutive allies of the Kruleboyz, and the Hobgrots lob strange explosive devices and wield wicked daggers to deadly effect. And you can see that they've got some different armor to them. They look quite different. Their skins are different color, and they've got these grenades that I think are called scrap grenades. So that's going to be a really interesting feature, and I can't wait to find out how far they can actually throw them and what damage they do. So altogether we're going to get 20 of these little guys, these Hobgrot Slitters. So you're going to get lots of variation, and they're not all going to look the same. So we've got different poses, some slightly different weapons. But yeah, these grenades are a really good feature of these, and you can really line them up and throw them in the way of the enemy. So that's the Kruleboyz and all the models that are included in the Dominion box set. So we certainly are going to get a ton of cool miniatures here. It's great to have this new faction, this new war clan to go with the Orruks. And I think you can even use the Iron Jaws and the Bone Splitters with them if you want to build your army out of 3 different war clans, or you can just stick to these guys. But here they are in action with the Stormcast Eternals, and this looks awesome. This swampy vibe is brilliant, and I think having a battle in a swampy environment like this would be awesome, and I can't wait to look at how we can start making terrain to match this. But let's have a look at exactly what we're going to get in the box, because it's not just these miniatures for the Kruleboyz. You're going to get all the Stormcast miniatures too, and I'll do a separate video on that, so you can see those models in as much detail as we've got in here. But you also get the main core book, and you're going to get the Start Here book, which is the War at Amberstone Watch, and that's going to give you a good idea and delve into the background of it all and explain why they're fighting each other. But exactly what you're going to get in the box is 21 Stormcast Eternals. We're going to get 39 Kruleboyz Orruks. You're going to get that exclusive launch edition core book that's only going to be available in this box set. And then you're going to get a 24-page booklet to get started, 14 War Scroll cards for everything included in there, and 2 Allegiance ability cards. So we really are going to get a lot in here, and they did say it's a battle in a box, everything you need to fight. There's no terrain included, but we might see those in future box sets that come out, so look out for that. But all up, there's a ton of miniatures here. It's going to weigh in at just under 3.5 kilo, so it's going to be packed with good stuff. So really excited to see this. And here's a look at that exclusive book cover that we're going to get for the core book in the set. And it really is stunning artwork. I mean, it looks great. These kind of worm-like creatures. So that might be an indication of something to come. And there she is fighting them. Really great looking book. And then we've also got all the cards and the war scrolls. And these data cards look awesome. They're going to have some great artwork themselves. So this set's super exciting. And I really love the idea of these more darker, sinister, crueler, taunting, spiteful characters to go up against the Stormcast Eternals. But it wasn't just the Dominion box set that we got to look at today. We also got some more miniatures to look at, and one of those is the Beast-skewer Killbow, and this is going to be available as a separate set to the box set. So we're not sure when this one's coming out, but this looks crazy, and the Kruleboyz may be more cunning than most, but they're still Orruks at the end of the day, and the fact that they made this ridiculously massive crossbow is a fine example. And Killbows are deadly to both large monsters and masses of foot troops, shooting straight through several at once. So this is really designed to be a monster hunter-killer and shooting across the battlefield from a distance. And then as we zoom in and take a look at it, this really is an awesome creation. A real fun model, and I love how we got all these little grots just kind of climbing around it and almost built within it, and it's going to take quite a few grots to operate this machine. And here's one of them here, pulling down on the lever, getting ready to launch that across the battlefield. So this is another great addition that I can't wait to find out more about, and I'm sure we will soon. I'm sure they're going to be releasing a lot more. But we also got this guy as well, so another big model, and this one looks great fun. And this here is a breaker boss on a Maya Brute Troggoth. And those war leaders who succeed in bending a Troggoth to their will are powerful indeed. And the breaker boss will goad these lumbering behemoths into battle, literally pointing them into the direction of the enemy and letting them vent their range. So this guy, this breaker boss, goes in, finds these Troggoths, breaks them, tames them as much as he can, and prepares them for battle, and then rides on their back on this crazy seat, holding them with a chain, and then he's got this stabby stick to either poke them with or the enemy if they get too close. And here you can see a little close-up of him sat on the back there, and he looks really cool. Really great model. And then the club, we've got these iron clubs here. They're going to do some serious damage as well. And if that wasn't enough, we're also going to get a book called Dominion, written by Darius Hinks, and this is going to give us a good background into what's going on in this world and why everyone's fighting each other. And the new core book describes a more savage and cutthroat mortal realms, and that's reflected in these miniatures. And in the Dominion novel, Darius Hinks masterfully shows us firsthand the destructive forces that are on the rise in the realm of beasts and the indomitable defences of Excelsis as they're tested like never before. So if you want to get the book, when that comes out, you'll be able to find out all about the narrative behind the Dominion box set and maybe a little bit more about the war at Amberstone Watch 2. So it does say that everything we've seen so far is just the tip of the iceberg, and so that tells us there's going to be more miniatures for the Stormcast, more miniatures for the Kruleboyz, and this is really exciting. But when will this Dominion box set be available? And it says on the website that the box will be available to pre-order in June, and it'll be available while stocks last. It does say they've made lots this time, but it certainly won't be around forever, so they recommend you place an order during the pre-order time. So make sure you do that if you want to pick it up. I'll certainly be trying my best to get a copy because this looks great, and this is the sort of thing that's going to get me into playing Age of Sigmar 2. So look out for some more Age of Sigmar related content coming to the channel soon, but I'm certainly going to be looking at using these in Warcry as well, so look out for some videos on how we can use all these miniatures we saw here and all the miniatures for the Stormcast and see how we can use those for Warcry in the future. I hope you enjoyed the video and finding out a little bit more about the Kruleboyz Orruks, and look out for more videos about this set and the different miniatures included coming really soon. But thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. If you like this kind of content and would like to support the channel, then please check out my Patreon page, and thanks to everyone who's joined so far. It's really awesome. We hang out on Discord, talk about the hobby, share ideas and help each other out, and you'll get some perks there that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'll put a link in the description, and it'd be great to see you there.